the object can be accelerating with a constant acceleration. For example, if you have a rocket, the rocket can be moving at constant acceleration, right? Like a 3 meters per second square or whatever. You will use the same equation. Because the rocket is moving with the engine, and it's the same that if it's moving along X or if it's moving along Y. But sometimes happens that the objects move under constant acceleration like this. What is the acceleration? Negative 9.8 meters per second square. Everybody knows the gravity. We will find that in our labs. That the gravity is 9.8 meters per second square. And it's negative, downward to the center of the Earth. So is the attractive acceleration, or due to the force of attraction between the Earth and the object. We will learn later how to get universally the gravity in every, with respect to any central body. In this case, will be with respect to the Earth, which is proved that is 9.8 meters per second square. All right, so because we will study a case when the acceleration is negative g, what is the meaning of j? Along y, right? We learned that when we learned vector. So the acceleration along y is negative gj. This type of motion is uniformly accelerated motion because the acceleration is constant, negative 9.8 meters per second square, and is called free fall. Free fall. Free fall, by definition, is a motion in one dimension under the effect of gravity alone. This is the definition of free fall. Motion of the object under the effect of gravity alone. So when I throw this is under the effect of gravity alone. That is what we call free fall, but in one dimension. In two dimensions, which we will learn in the next class, will be called projectile motion. But that's in two dimensions. In one dimension, it's called free fall. So, in free fall, if we replace the equation, we will use the same equation. So, V along Y, VO, but instead of AY, I can put negative G. So every time that you read an object is thrown outward, you know that they are talking about free fall. We are considering that there is a negligible resistance, air resistance. So we can neglect the air resistance. So you can see that here. This is very light object. This is an object that is heavier. So you can see that even that this is light, if I put at the same point, they fall at the same rate, right? So it doesn't have to be this, can be this and this. So you can see that they land at the same time, okay? So the acceleration is negative 9.8. You replace AY by negative G. So will be VO every time that they said the object is under that effect of the free fall, negative G, T. This will be the big one for that type of motion. This, I am not giving the formula. You know that if I am talking about free fall, you have to replace the AY, this A, by negative 9.8. For the reason I put negative G here. Not negative. The negative is already here. But if you want to put AY, good for you. Or you want to put plus G, and you know that G is negative, good for you. But you know is that in the formula have to be negative 9.8. Why? This is negative 9.8 again. Let me just put it here. G is negative 9.8. Let me just put as a vector. Y, YO plus BYOT plus 1/2 GT squared. Remember, this is negative 9.8. And finally, b squared is equal to bo squared, same formula, plus 2g y minus yo. These are the three equations. Important. When we are dealing with this, the coordinate system, y, the best way to deal with this, generally speaking, is the lowest level in the content of the problem will be 0. The lowest level will be 0. So, that doesn't mean that it has to be the ground. If I set in a problem, an object is thrown from my hand and returned to my hand, what is the lowest level? My hand. Who cares if there is a ground, and who cares? So the content of the problem is telling you what is the lowest level. That point will be, that position will be 0. Any position above will be positive. That's the best way to deal with the coordinate system in free fall. So if I say the object is thrown from here or dropped, right? You can say the lowest level, whatever is the lowest level, will be 0. In that case, it's the only one that I can advise to interchange the coordinate system, saying this is 0, and anything that lower than that will be negative. But when it's